am pleased to introduce Angela Anderson from Robotic Skies, Director of Marketing.
Yes.
Director, yeah.
I know. It's super impressive.
Huzzah, huzzah, hail to the chief. You are one of those people that's had the chance to work with some of the most interesting companies in the business, and now you're in the drone game. And if there is anything right now that is more exciting and yet at the same time so mysterious, because the directions it could go from here are beyond belief. I mean, what is it? It's just hard to believe. So you're in the middle of the maelstrom. Lucky you.
Yay!
Hey.
It does feel that way some days, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Joe. Good to be here with you.
So first, let's talk about Robotic Skies. It's not a company that many people in the manned industries have heard of, but obviously is making its way through the unmanned community in a big way. Brad Hayden, of course, the guy who left a good job, decided he was going to try to make a success of himself, and one of these days he might. But Robotic Skies is definitely making a name for himself. So tell me all about what Robotic Skies is doing right now and its place in the industry.
Yeah, well, it is interesting to have a foot in both worlds, on the manned side and unmanned, and in a way being a bridge between. These aircraft, well, and they are aircraft. I think
no doubt about it.
That's definitely a shift that has taken place. It's beyond hobby. These are aircraft that will be operating in mixed airspace, shared airspace.
And are already accomplishing incredibly complex missions.
So much. So many use cases have been put to the test, and global organizations are seeing the benefit from an economic standpoint, efficiency, safety, above all, keeping people out of dark, dull, dangerous, dirty places to accomplish all manner of missions. Technology's been amazing to see evolve. Of course, Brad is very involved on the regulatory front as well, to see all this come to fruition and really be able to scale globally.
Well, the drone community has already proven its worth in a number of quasi-conventional missions that were heretofore manned, whether it be ag, whether it be survey. Boy, there isn't a real estate operator out there right now that isn't using one. The farming community has just been extraordinary. Some of the work that's being done. Got such a kick several years ago with the Yamaha helicopter guys and what they're doing, and especially in little rice fields in Japan, places I actually have been, and what they were doing and how they were doing that. Now we're seeing, incredible capabilities with very high-end sensors that are allowing drones to survey for all number of hazards or capabilities or metrics, and keeping up with that mission, and especially finding who and what can maintain those systems. Your work's cut out for you, girl. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and you'll hear this phrase in the industry that data is the new oil, and it really is with these drones. Your mention of all the sensor types.
Yeah.
That is the gold in all of this, and certainly as the missions become more complex and carrying heavier loads, autonomy is a huge topic right now. Autonomous missions with larger platforms, larger payload, flying longer distances.
It's going to be tough to keep up with all this. Now, Robotic Skies' overall mission is to be able to build a maintenance network around the unmanned community.
Yes, so we are essentially building a global marketplace, and we've got partners to make this happen. So on the one hand,
Brett's not doing the whole thing by himself?
Yes,
he'd try if he could.
Yeah, oh yeah. He, single-handedly, he's juggling all these pieces. It's amazing. He's been at it since 2014, and is, a very passionate belief in the way this industry is headed, and so far, all of his predictions, we're seeing the industry head exactly that way.
It was an interesting move. I remember talking to him at the time because he was our interface with a company that worked with quite a bit and liked a great deal and still do and work with them and all, but we were sitting there going, what, you're abandoning us? And then it was surprisingly effusive about his hopes for the future and how confident. I mean, it takes people with a certain vision, and confidence is kind of a double-edged sword because it can bite you as well, but man, he was confident that he had a direction which he knew would have to be modified or changed, but boy, he stuck to it. And I mean, look who your partners are. And I know you've had some pretty significant investment from players who know what they're doing and have a lot of cash. So you obviously are heading in the right direction.
Yeah. And we know that aircraft operating in shared airspace, the FAA has a say in the safety standards that are in place, and to protect
whether the man community likes it or not.
It'll happen, and I truly believe it will be a good thing, and we'll find the path where it will work. So we've got our partnerships with manufacturers and really helping them establish or optimize a maintenance program and get their maintenance manuals in order and prepare themselves for the field support that's coming. And then the really cool thing about being able to leverage the existing infrastructure, the existing MRO infrastructure, providing a new revenue stream for Part 145 repair stations that already have all of the knowledge and skills and the quality management systems in place. That
Just
are
a
going to be
different
critical.
platform to work on, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which brings up the question, with the interface that is necessary between companies that have heretofore expended all of their efforts in the manned community, how much distrust is there from the manned community finally having to go into unmanned, or for that matter, what kind of hassle are you getting from folks who kind of go, well, that'll never work, that's not going to happen?
Maybe I'm not in those circles, but I don't feel like I hear that.
Good. Okay.
And in fact, many of the use cases I've listened to of, for energy companies, that type of thing, who've talked about putting their drone programs together. If there's an existing flight ops department, from the get-go, they're in coordination with a flight department. So
really?
It's from the ground up, there's an integration happening.
I remember when drones were coming on the scene that there was a lot of hesitancy, and you're going to ram my airliner or ram my G2 or whatever the case may be. But well, I'm glad to hear that people are getting with the program, because it's not like this is going to stop. They got no place to go but forward. Interesting. The manufacturers that are prominent in the unmanned community, how have they embraced your programs?
Very much so. And I think it's, once we have a discussion with them, it's like a weight comes off. First of all, it's
we don't have to fix our stuff? Oh, please.
It's a bit of a relief, because they're so busy doing their R&D, building systems, selling systems, to think beyond, okay, we do want to scale globally one day. How are we going to support those customers all around the world with quality service and cost efficiency and all of that? To know that that's already solved for them is a relief.
Excellent.
And to know that we bring the aviation knowledge that they're in the process of building up. And
well, I think too that one of the things that might have helped this transition is you're both coming out of the manned community. You know all these players, they know you. You speak of the language, and so that's got to help quite a bit in the circumstances. What do you think are your biggest challenges going forward?
Biggest challenge is timing, and our sweet spot is, so to back up a little, our sweet spot is going to be working on aircraft that have been type certificated, and there's operator certification requirement, which comes with coming with that is a need for a certified maintenance solution. So that's our sweet spot of where we're going to serve this
Well, that's right
community
around the
best.
corner.
So that's coming.
Yeah.
There are many airframes, or OEMs in that process. So it's just getting over that hurdle.
The avionics community, let's talk about this community in particular. They have possibly the biggest stake in this because the airframes that are coming on the market, the propulsion is simple, the navs are simple. It is the mission-specific technologies that are going to require real expertise in electronics. Because these are, and in many cases, they're electronic devices, period. I mean, there's no other power source to speak of. What advice do you give to the AEA community about being a part of the upcoming drone revolution, and how can they do that through Robotic Skies?
So you can always reach us at roboticskies.com.
See, Brad, we gave you a plug, buddy.
Yeah, definitely check out our website, and you can reach out to us through there and inquire if you're interested in being a part of our network, or if there's any drone manufacturers out there watching. We're always looking for new partners to work with. And
what's the? Do you find it takes a while for these folks to get the message, or is it fairly quick on the upkeep then?
It's one conversation typically.
Really?
One conversation, and
I want to be in that business so bad.
and they get it. Well, from a repair station standpoint, the way our model is built, it's very low risk. Raise your hand to participate, and when the time comes, we're going to give you the training you need. There's no fees or equipment or anything that you need to really invest in until there's work to do.
There you go.
So very easy from the repair station side. Manufacturer side, we need time, some engineering time to get trained up on the system, and we handle the rest.
There you go.
We handle the workflow. So
for somebody who has been a part of general aviation, you've been an aircraft owner and obviously a pilot, coming into unmanned, what's your biggest surprise? What was the thing that shook you the most?
Oh gosh, good question. I think it was perhaps the pervasiveness already. I think I would say like the visible part of the industry is like aerial photography. It's obvious. It's apparent in real estate and insurance, and wedding photography, that type of thing. It's a very visible thing, but I guess what I didn't realize is how much like the energy industry has embraced it for inspecting infrastructure, just all the various use cases that were already in play.
Wild stuff,
so, yeah.
including
and
most
the sheer
recently.
number of manufacturers.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Hundreds are out there.
Everybody's got an idea and an approach.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet the industry has achieved some amazing things. And it's funny you mentioned photography. As a photographer and videographer, the work that's coming out of unmanned systems is beyond belief. We saw some footage recently on some of the volcanic eruptions overseas, where you could put a drone where you never think to put an aircraft. And I take that kind of personally because I was one of the first helicopters into Mount St. Helens many years ago after the eruption, and I'm just sitting there going, don't erupt again, please don't erupt again. And it was nasty, and we had to worry about filters and this, that, and the other. And the drones just flew in there, and if one of them dunked, well, get another one and go.
Yep.
Big deal. Yeah, that's toast, we expect that.
Yeah.
Call the insurance company.
Yeah.
But the imagery that comes out of this stuff and the way you can translate the world and some of the footage that's coming out is amazing. And yet, on the other side of the coin, these are how the fields are being taken care of. These are, farmers are checking the North 40 from their breakfast table. And all the other things that are occurring out there, surveillance, what have you, work in law enforcement, work in military, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. And that's actually one of the one of the issues that some of these operators are facing is how to manage the sheer volume of data, and having a data plan in place to secure it, be able to process it, and get insights out of it.
Extraordinary. Well, I'll tell you what, always good to talk to you. I'm still totally dumbfounded that you got rid of the 170. Shame on you. We'll have to get you up in an airplane here sometime and get the rust out. But well, I'll tell you what, you at least had good taste in airplanes, that's for sure. And we appreciate you stopping by. Give Brad our best. Once again, folks can get a hold of you through roboticskies.com.
Correct. Yes.
Angela, thank you again for spending time with us. We certainly appreciate it.
Fourth Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Dallas, Texas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.